Welcome back to another episode of Art World Confessions. So, the last episode I spoke about loving Berlin, and I didn't really mention any specific people because there are just so many people in Berlin that I could mention. And it made me think about another person who is in Germany, Mr. Harold Falkenberg, who is or was one of the biggest art patrons in Hamburg. And the first few times I visited Hamburg, I had it in my head, oh, I need to meet Mr. Falkenberg. I need to somehow meet Harold Falkenberg. He's the biggest collector in Hamburg. I want to meet him. And so I went around Hamburg for a couple weeks, and I didn't meet him, of course. I went to the Diktorhallen and a couple other museums that he was instrumental in supporting. And I think it was one of those times when there was a Berlin Art Fair or Berlin Weekend. So I was in Berlin and I went to dinner unrelated to art, or perhaps it's all related to art. So I went to the restaurant called Grill Royale. And it was very popular at that time, Grill Royale. I think it always will be in one way or another. And I was having dinner with some friends, and then I saw someone else that I knew, and he was like, oh, come over and meet these people. They're from Hamburg, blah, blah, blah. So I come over to the table, and who should my friend want to introduce me to but Mr. Harold Falkenberg and his partner. So I pretty much spent the evening talking about art and telling him about Hamburg. And then I think his partner also invited me as well. They were heading back in a couple days, and they said they would give me a tour of the collection. So I had to wake up really early the next morning, meet them at the train station on the platform. I made it just in time, and we took the train together to Hamburg and spent the whole day together going around looking at the art in his collection, talking about art, going to a little cocktail party. And it really was just one of the most serendipitous and fun events in Berlin and in Germany for me. But it also reminded me of what I mentioned in the last episode, that sometimes we have an idea in our head about what we want from life or things that we desire, and then the universe comes around and organizes things to work out for your desire, not necessarily in the way that you had thought, but somehow the pieces fall into place. And I mean, it's really a great affirmation about how things work in the world, and again about the creative process, which in general we are in charge of. And it's just, anyways, I thought that would be another great Art World Confessions. I hope you enjoy it. If you're ever in Hamburg, go check out all of the collections. You can probably Google it and see what's happening now. I don't know what exhibitions are on now, but it really was amazing to see all the artwork that had been collected by this gentleman over the years, and to get a personal tour, as a matter of fact. And it reminded me as well that collectors come in all shapes, colors, sizes. They have all sorts of interests there, all sorts of characters. But what they all share, I think, for the most part, is a curiosity. And if they have this curiosity, then their collections really are great collections and can make huge contributions to society, to the artists' lives, of course, and to culture in general. I mean, the collectors who are there primarily for buying and selling and flipping and, just basically making a profit, they don't really contribute much, and it's reflected in their collections, which are superficial market babies and have no depth or anything to say or anything really to contribute to art history in the long run. And there are many artists who have been part of the art market in over the last hundreds of years, and when you look for their work now, no one knows where they are. Even if you look 10 years back at what was selling in the art market, some of them you don't see anymore right now. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not great artists, it just means that their market darling shine has sort of worn off, and now no one's interested in them. Whether the art was good or not is another question. But that's it for today's episode of Art World Confessions. We'll be back next week perhaps with another Art World Confession, which I will develop a little bit more on the lines of art that's outside of Western art history. Because I really believe that now that we are embracing art from all over the world, for so long people and we still, for the most part, if it's not in the art market, sometimes it doesn't even get any press. But I think when people work with art, like myself, and we understand what art means, you can find art in some of the most amazing places. I mean, I think the next episode I will talk about Bali and another serendipitous meeting I had in Bali based on a vision I had of going there and who I wanted to meet and what I thought was important in terms of art there. So please share, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when I upload another episode of Art World Confessions, or I may have another episode of the Bees and Honey podcast coming soon, and you'll know when that's up if you hit the bell notification button. Thanks for being here and have a great week. The great thing about art is people who love art recognize people who love art.